Welcome to part 5 of the multiple choice quiz program. What we're going to be doing next is to insert the button which will begin the quiz program. Okay, to do that we're going to create a button and then we're going to need to place it on the question frame. As you can see, I've made a button called Begin Quiz inside the question frame. Text on it, begin quiz, a background color that will stand out against the current color. The width is 15 and the height too. Notice they're not in pixels, they're in text units. You can play around with the width and the height with other values, but these ones I find work reasonably well. The font we're going to be using on the button, and at the moment I've got some command binding here to a method called start quiz. Now we haven't written that method yet, so I'm going to take this out. We'll put this back in later. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to somehow get the begin quiz button onto the screen. So if we use the usual .pack, let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, now that's placed the button at the top of the question frame. Now I really would like it to be in the center here, so is there any way of doing that? Well, I suppose we could add a whole lot of padding at the top of the button. That might help to force it down, but it's a sort of really a guess type method, so I'm looking for something better than that. We could also try and use the grid method. So maybe if we said something like column equals 2 and row equals 2. Let's see what that does. Okay, not very effective. Why is it sort of in the top left hand corner here? Well, the reason being is that we don't have anything in row 0 and row 1, or column 0 and column 1, and because of that those columns and rows essentially just collapse down. So while this is in row 2 column 2, there's nothing else to force it over or down. Once again, even if there was, there's no guarantee it would end up in the center of the screen here where we want it. So is there a further way that we could try and get this button in the middle of the question frame? And there's a further geometry manager called place, and what this can work with is relative units, and I'll explain this as I type it in. What we're going to use is relative units, so we're going to say to the program, go halfway across the horizontal distance, the X distance of the question frame, and place this begin quiz button. And we also want to go halfway down that frame as well, so we'll make that also 0.5. Now if we left it like that, let's run that. This looks pretty good, but you can see that it's the top left hand corner that's ended up in the center, and I really want the middle of the button to be in the center position. We can achieve that by putting in an anchor option. Anchor equals center, which effectively says that the center of the button will be the thing which is placed halfway across and halfway down the question frame. So let's run that, and we've achieved what we were looking for here. Okay, so now we have a begin quiz button that is in the position that we want as well. Now at the moment this does nothing except change color when I click on it, so we want to add some functionality, and we'll do that in the next part of this series of videos.